Welcome students, welcome again to this next video lecture, and same slide we will discuss little bit. So last point was family constellation, okay, that we discussed in the previous video lecture. So next point is socio-economic status. Of course this makes us very different from each other. Socio-economic status, this defines what we could and couldn't have had. This defines what kinds of people we were exposed to, what kind of situation we could have been exposed to, and that in turn defines how we interact with people and how people react to us or how people interact with us. Okay, means socio-economic status means we are living in the society, and that in short that background of society that we are having. Okay, so that is called a socio-economic status. The next point is educational qualification and system. Educational qualifications and system. I will just give you some food for thought. You may think over it. Qualifications. Yes, people with higher degrees are regarded to be a little more knowledgeable, even though somebody that our local vegetable seller could be a better salesperson, could be a better manager than you with MBA degree, but that person doesn't even have a school certificate. All this person can doing is maybe do some basic calculations, but he couldn't managing his farm, he couldn't managing his family, he could be sorry, let me clear again, repeat this one. The person that doesn't have that local vegetable seller, okay, doesn't even have a school certificate. All this person can doing is, or maybe do some basic calculation, but he could managing his farm, he could be managing his family, he could be running a small business, all those things. Okay, but we feel that a person with an MBA from a reputed business school will be a better manager. So all those things plus the system of education, okay, all those things can handle different in different way by the well educated MBA person. So state boards versus central boards, ICSE versus CBSE, these are the systems. Then the opinions have changed since you were schooling in your childhood, or we were schooling in our childhood. Again, Indian degrees versus foreign degrees, IIT versus local colleges, all these things will make a difference to how you are perceived by the environment and how the environment reacts to you or interacts with you. And we must never forget that we are always talking about the impact our interactions or impact our signals have on the people in our environment. So next point is professional and personal experiences. For example, if I were to tell you that I was born and raised in other countries, then you won't believe, or someone will believe. Or if I told you, no, I have lived in several different cities in the country, and I have been out and I have been exposed to different cultures, and I have also been trained in this intercultural communication, probably the impact of my teaching could be a little more than it could be. But if I told you that this is my personal experience, okay, so I am going to tell you how or what intercultural communication is and how to be competent. Would you believe me? Probably not. So professional experiences, what organization I have worked for, or you might work in future, or who have been in touch with, which schools you went to, all those things will contribute to the manner in which your environment responds to you. So my occupation makes me different from others. We have different opinion about doctors, we have a different opinion about teachers. If you are in the teaching profession, your opinion of teachers will be different from the opinion of others about teachers, or opinions of those who are not in the teaching profession about teachers. Okay, So all these things make us different, and this list is by no means exhaustive. You could add tons and tons and tons of things, so many things you may add here in these sources of differences. But anyway, these are the things that make us different, and these are the things that in turn govern what I am going to talk about next. Okay, so this is called here socio ideological, this is socio ideological differences. Okay, you may read this, please read this list, go through this list, and we will take a little while to discuss this one. Okay, we will talk about high and low context cultures in the next class. We will talk about the contextuality of cultures in the next class, but today we just want to start thinking about what our beliefs can be, where our beliefs can lie, and now we are also different because of the things discussed on the previous slide. What are the manner in which we behave in our environment changes, and these are the some of the areas in which we could behave differently with others. So let us talk about the first one, boundaries, specific versus diffuse. In some cultures, everybody's business is everybody's business. Okay, especially in the rural areas in India, or even in other countries, you are constantly in or out each other's lives. In Western culture, your boundaries are very clearly defined. We have a personal bubble. Okay, so people are not supposed to cross a certain line when they are talking to you. We have our personal space, we have personal boundary, we have personal bubble. That personal boundary is called here personal bubble. But when I go home, my cousins ask me, or uh, your cousins will ask you, how much money do you make, what is your monthly salary, what is the number written on your monthly paycheck, what scale are you at, and it is considered as absolutely acceptable form of communication, and I feel uncomfortable, but they say no, you should never ask a man's salary and a woman's age. What about women who is earning? So it feels uncomfortable, but here it is not said, because it's everybody's business. Of course, change the question a little bit. So but when you are abroad in the western countries, or in the western countries, it's not appropriate for you to ask such things. Even the family members cannot ask you such things. They feel that it is too much of an invasion in your privacy. Here anyone can, the physical boundaries are open. When you say diffuse, there are little holes in our boundaries. So this is the image you may observe here. Okay, this is here at this point you, and in a closed community your personal bubble would be probably very large depending on where you are. In a western country, this is your personal bubble, and this space is reserved for, this is your personal bubble, and this is reserved for your friends and immediate family, and this space right here in the center is your own space. This is your own space. Nobody can enter a space, not even your family, and the space between between this one, these two lines, is for your immediate family and maybe one or two close friends, or the rest of the world is not supposed to cross these boundaries over here. So all this is tightly closed, and anyone who tries to get into it is sort of told to say out, mind your own business, or MYOB. Someone somewhere you might be heard this word MYOB, mind your own business. Now in a country like India, what do? You have this, is you over here, you are here, and I will take another sheet of paper. See here, another slide. See, same example is given. See, and here, so this is you, and you cannot have here this is you, and you cannot have personal boundaries. Here you have personal boundaries or personal space. Here some lacunas, someone will enter in your personal bubble. Again here in this sheet there are some blockages. hmm? If you permit, those people can enter only from these holes. Okay, so this is the example about the personal boundary. Okay, so next thing on the list is same thing again. These people have around us, they have their personal space like you, and you interact with them. That comes to the point again, interpersonal, intercultural communication. So next thing, again, these are the same thing. This is the universe. Hmm? Your communication goes in this context, in this environment. So next thing on this slide, that universalism, uh, let us bit little bit stop here. Next thing here is universalism versus particularism. Okay, so see, just hold on. Okay, so when we talk about this one universalism, we talk about the universally applicable rules and regulations for people. Okay, when we talk about the universalism, we talk about the universally applicable rules and regulations for people. Okay, that is called here universalism. And particularism is about paying individual attention or relative regard to different situations that people are coming from. That is particularism. Okay, so for example in the West, I know little bit about the US and people in the US. If you are listening to me, please correct me if I am wrong. You are welcome to write to me. And but what I felt was that the rules are common, one rule is applicable to everybody. But if you are supposed to take time off during Christmas and New Year, whether believe in Christmas, whether you are not Christian or not, it is sacred. I mean, that is the time between Christmas and New Year is sacred. Everybody is supposed to celebrate Christmas. Everybody gets the time off, whether you want to work or not. It's hard for you to do it, especially if you are part of an organization. Same for Thanksgiving. Everybody wants to celebrate Thanksgiving, and that is fine, and it's a different thing. Means this happens in America, okay, or US. So now in India we have a system in the government organizations, especially because of the diversity of people. We have a system of restricted holidays. So everybody is given a list of say maybe 15 16 holidays, and I'm not too much sure about the number. You have given system a list of holidays, and you pick any two that suit your cultural background most. So if I'm a Hindu, I want to take time off on say Bhau Beej, which is the day on which brothers and sisters celebrate their relationship. It can take that day off. Okay, so I'm not sure, I could be wrong about the examples, or it generally it happens in our country. Okay, but if I do not believe in Rakhi, then I may not need to take that day off. So I get to close, means according to the situation, someone will take enjoy as a holiday, or someone will take special leave to celebrate that occasion. Okay, so you have another is that another and so these are the several example here. So you have a dress code, and we have particular dress code in particular uh, cultural background or cultural environment. Okay, so these are the several examples which is applicable to universalism and particularism. For example, Punjabi people have their Punjabi dress, special dress. Okay, and Maharashtrians, sari is famous for that. Okay, so it is about the culture. So, and in some other countries, we prefer to give people the liberty to go up in a certain extent. Of course, if some community believes that, then can hurt another person. They can invade into another person's boundaries. If such kind of things goes in foreign countries, we will obviously not allow it. But in some cultures, we believe that we need to give some special consideration for some special cases. And again, that is very relative. Nothing is right or wrong, nothing is good or bad. It's all very relative, related to that particular situation, condition, environment. But we have different communities that believe in different things. Okay, so next point is affective versus neutral. So affective refers to the expression of emotions. Some cultures encourage the expressions of emotions in informal setting. Okay, other cultures do not encourage it. Okay, so see here, affective refers to the expressions of emotions. Some cultures encourage the expression of emotions in informal settings. Then other cultures do not encourage it. Other cultures believe that you should compartmentalize what you are doing, what you are coming from. So next thing is, that is achievements versus achievements versus ascription, or does versus is. What do you believe in India? So when we ask somebody, what do you want to know, if you are coming from a slightly traditional background, who you are, who are you is not what you have done with your life. So who are you means which state are you from, which community you are from, what do your parents do. It's not appropriate to ask somebody what their parents do. It's not appropriate to ask somebody what their family background is like. You want to know everybody's family background, so you can put them in a different slot. So you are does you have your does achievements, does achievement versus ascriptions. Achievement versus as ascription. And achievement is what means what as a teacher myself have got, and what as a student till this third year, last year or second year you have achieved in your professional life. Who your parents are, what your brothers does is of no use to anyone, and if I try and tell them that, they will not appreciate that. So whereas in India, if I mention my grandfather's name so to somebody, they will start looking at me differently. Or you will take this example in your personal life. If someone asks you your grandfather's name, grandma's name, so it looks different. So if I mention something that my cousins had done, or the profession of my cousins, it would make a difference to how people perceive me. So it's the ascription. Of course my achievements would count, but it is also who am I, where are my roots. And it's not only in India, it's in several other countries this is the case. Okay, so and in the purely Western countries, I do not know what is right or wrong. I frankly do not know how to classify these things. I am just telling you about the different things that there are there. So if you make a mistake, you are able to overcome that failure, or if you are able to correct that mistakes, your mistakes is forgotten. It doesn't live with you for the rest of your life. Whereas in other cultures, what happened to you for because of a mistake you made, or what happened to you because of mistake your family made, or what happened to the environment because of mistake that the family made, stays with you for as long as you live. So it is does versus is. What I did in the past 5 or 10 years is more important than what my ancestors did 5 or 10 generations ago. So that is what different cultures believe in. We will discuss this again, but I just want you to start thinking about these things, and my status is determined by these things. Nature. Next point is nature. Some cultures believe that a tree is a piece of wood. Some cultures believe that tree is just timber. It can be used for fire. It can be used to build houses. It can be used to make different pieces of furniture. But it is just a resource. You cut one tree, you plant another tree. That is it. That's it. Okay. So these are the cultural beliefs. Okay. So other cultures believes that the tree is not only a source of food, it's not only a resource, it's also a shelter for the animals living in it. It's also a living thing. And if a tree that some ancestor planted in your backyard dies, the whole family feels sad. You know, you do not just cut up the tree and say, great, now yes, the tree is there and it's not bearing any more fruit. So let me put it up and use it for fire and furniture or for whatever. So it's not the case. If something happens to the tree, you feel sad. Okay. So again, another example is that animals are not only for food. Chickens, you get attached to your chickens. It is not like if this is your pet, this chicken is your pet and the other chicken is your food. It's not like that. It is all sort of these things are intermingled. And again, another disclaimer, I do not know that whether it is right or wrong. So we may categorize these things into right or wrongs. We may categorize or we may not categorize these ones. Just try and see the differences in what people believe in and how they believe in these differences. So we just observed the nature, and next point is gender equality. Okay, so women and men are equal. Women and men are equal. Women and men are equal. Someone will not agree with that. Women have different strengths, men have different strengths. Women have different weaknesses, men have different weaknesses. But different cultures believe in different things. You get paid for the number of hours you put in, whether you are man or woman, you get paid the same. But if you are not able to put in those many hours, your salary will be different. And in other cultures, you believe if you are a woman, you could be marrying, you could be having children, you could need to take time off. But if the value of your contribution is the same, if you have contributed, we have that levy. Some cultures give you that levy of taking time off. If you are a man, if you are not supposed to, I mean, you'll be treated at the same level, and that's not okay. You do not know if that's not what other cultures believe in. Some cultures like to treat people differently because of their strengths. This is also very closely tied to universalism and particularism, and so this varies from culture to culture. For the belief about the equality of genders, equality is not relative, it is absolute in some cultures. Okay, so the gender equality in other cultures, gender equality is relative. You see things from different in different perspectives. Power distance. Next point is power distance. Power distance means where do you consider yourself in the scheme of things, how far you think you are from a senior at work professionally. So all these things will this varies. Some organizations are flatter, some are horizontal, some are vertical, and power distance has its own benefits. It is own problems. In some cultures, you feel that you can very easily approach your boss. We are talking about the power distance. Okay, you can easily approach to your boss. Just walk into your boss office and ask the boss everything, anything. In other cultures, you have to go through proper channel. Hmm? But we have to go through proper channel. Uncertainty avoidance. Next point is that uncertainty avoidance. Uh, Again, a very important concept. Some cultures believe in removing all kinds of uncertainty from their environment. Some cultures believe in knowing everything beforehand, so the uncertainty can be avoided in their environment. The other cultures are more prepared to take risk. They say, they say if you are well prepared in one type of culture, we will say that owners of my effectiveness or the reason why I will be effective in a particular culture lies in the circumstances that are presented to me. So if the circumstances are enable, I will be effective, or you will be effective. If I can avoid uncertainty, if I am able to access these circumstances, I will be okay. Another culture believes that if I am okay, you see where the locus of control is. So our culture believes that somebody else has the control, somebody else has the power over someone's effectiveness, and other culture believes that if you are okay, then you are well prepared. Okay, then I don't care what comes my way, or you will not do the same thing. Now again, I do not know what is good or bad. You cannot confirm the things. So we need a mix of both, but uncertainty avoidance is something that in turn impacts the manners in which you negotiate your identities, the manner in which you present yourself, the manner in which you interact with your environment, the manner in which you respond to your environment. You want to reduce the uncertainty. So you try and get as much information from your environment, or you sort of have a lot of interpersonal communication. You equip yourself with all the tools necessary to deal with any situation that will have an impact on how you react with your and how you interact with your environment. Next point is individualism versus collectivism. That is another thing that cultures believe very differently. In some cultures believe, again this goes back to the notion of boundaries, right here, diffuse and specific boundaries. Okay, so see here, uh, so when I talk about individualism, here let me get you here. So this is me, and here, and there is another person with a personal bubble. This is another person's with the personal bubbles, with the personal bubbles. This is another person with a personal. If we need to work together, we just have to get closer to each other, and but our personal bubbles will remain the same. Maybe I need to create an opening right here, maybe I need to create an opening only for that amount of time. Means here I have to give them, here I have to give them, let me clear again. Here I am, and these are the other persons, and if I want to interact with them, I have to give them, I have to permit them. Here I have to open these boundaries which were blocked. Okay, so I need to create an opening, right, opening somewhere, and I need to create an opening only for that amount of time. One more opening that is suited to this person's opening. Okay, means according to the situation, according to the job requirement, according to the conditions, I will allow the boundaries to enter in it. So these are the things happen with us. Okay, so next point is that, see, masculinity and femininity. See here, so if I ask about salaries, I ask about somebody's salaries, I ask about everybody's salaries, so it is, those definitions are very very clear. So this is another concept that one must think of. When we say individualism, the rules are universal for everybody. When we say individualism, the rules are universal for everybody, the rules are standard for everybody. We sort of define our boundaries according to those rules, and once we define our boundaries, they are get stuck with them. They are like tight close water, tight, they are like tight close watertight compartment. The next concept is that is just as masculinity and femininity. So what do men do, and the roles of men and women. So now what we consider masculine, what is considered feminine, is designed very differently in different cultures, and this turn has an impact on the manner in which people in different cultures interact with each other. Some of their actions are feminine, some of their actions are masculine. What is defined as masculine, what is defined as feminine, where do you draw the line, where do you talk about gender equality differs from culture to culture. So this is something that I want you all to think about. What is your definition? Where do you define all these things in relation to who you are? Then long term versus short term goals. Some culture believe in defining long term goals, some culture believe in having long term goals. They feel that we do not care what the short term goals are. We do not care what is achieved in the short term as long as we are able to achieve what we set out to achieve in maybe 5 years or 10 years, or at the end of a particular period. It's fine. So other cultures believe that if you keep achieving short term goals perfectly, then your life will be simple, because of the short term goals are met as perfectly as you thought they could be met, then nothing can stop you from meeting the larger long term goals. Okay, so now I think I have a means you might be little bit confused, hmm? because of so much contents which is unaware to you, in this course. So we focused only on the slides, and these slides can be quite confusing little bit for somebody who is reading this or for the first time. So please read this slide. Okay, so next here I want to, sorry, we will come back shortly. See this one. See here. uh, think about something, and we will discuss this again. I will repeat this in the next lecture, but I just wanted to introduce you to this concept. I want you to think about the ideologies you follow, who you are, what are you thinking about, what do you believe in, why do you believe in, and why and how do these beliefs help you lead your life. Means cultural, intercultural communication, or cultural differences, or culture sources to cultural differences, and why and how do these beliefs help you become effective in some situations. What else do you need to believe in, or what else do you need to change about the manner or which you interact with different environments. What could the other people be believing in? So please think about not only what you believe in, think also about what other people could be believing in, and why they could be believing in different things. Why do we have these different notions of universalism and particularism? Why do different cultures have specific boundaries? Why do different cultures have diffuse boundaries? What could be the reasons for those? The hint here is you could look at the anthropological data, you could look at historical data, so all that could help you define these things, that in intercultural communication. So the other thing I want you to start thinking about this is that, can you as an individual identity with only one culture, can you honestly say that you belong only to this particular culture and none other? Just think about these things and come prepared for the next lecture. We can talk about these things a little more in the next lecture. So till then, thank you. Let us stop here.